ladies and gentlemen, this is Gillespie, and I and I've studied a lot of esoteric information. I decided I just wanted to share with people some of my studies. Hopefully I can help you guys on your studies, and we can go from there. Initially, I was from the Catholic Church, but now I'm basically just a seeker of knowledge. I'm not connected to any particular church. I'm just basically a seeker of truth. So if you've been watching my couple of videos, I make about like 6-minute, 7-minute videos just so that everyone can understand these esoteric informations quite easily. So if you've been watching my videos, I talked about how there's archetypes in my previous videos of certain principles internally, because once you realize what's going on in this universe, we realize that the dynamic of what's really going on that a lot of people are starting to realize is the dynamics of the innerverse. Everything happens innerverse before it goes external. So we're having an experience where we're trying to learn ourselves, and the manifestation happens in innerverse, and then it extends externally. So a lot of times when you're dealing with, like, let's just say prototypes of goddesses, you realize that they all have similar stories. For example, Mary Magdalene, Virgin Mary, Isis, even Sophia in Gnosticism, and they're always talking, and they're always representation of the subconscious. So just do a really quick overview of what we're talking about. Is our original state is a vibration, and what collapses that vibration is our consciousness. And our consciousness, based on the observer effect and the double split experiences, can collapse the wave function so we can have an experience of a third dimension. This third dimension reality is more of a hologram. So instead of calling it a hologram, I'll call it a matrix, like the movie of The Matrix. So that's basically what is happening. So when you understand this, you understand that the main frame of manifestation is actually the consciousness. But when you understand these stories and really understand the principle of what they're saying that the consciousness, which is the main frame of the holographic universe, has got corrupted. And it got corrupted because the masculine mind has been contaminated with a virus in so many, I guess is the best way to say it. And the virus is considered to be called the shadow. So a little bit emphasis on the shadow. The shadow is connected to ignorance. So when you're dealing with Gnosticism and you're dealing with the story of Sophia, you realize that she manifests as the Demiurge, and the Demiurge does not understand where he comes from. He believes that he is God, because in that story, in the principle, what they're saying is that Demiurge awakens in the matrix, in the holographic universe, not truly understanding the origins of his story. And the origins of his story is that he is actually manufactures and built from the psychology of Sophia, because she's the one that's manifesting from her subconscious, but she is suppressing or not addressing some of her shadow. And that shadow then becomes hidden and stored away in her subconscious. And then it manifests, because remember, it's a holographic universe. So anything that we're feeling internal will manifest externally. So if Sophia, as the subconscious, has these undesirable thoughts and feelings, and she's hiding them locked away in her subconscious, that's going to manifest in the external world as ignorance, because remember, the Demiurge is ignorance. So when it manifests as an ignorance, it's going to wake up in the third world thinking that that's where it manifested from, that it woke up in the third world, that the third world is reality, not truly understanding that the Demiurge or the shadow or the ego actually originated from the subconscious as a shadow. So when you understand that, you realize that the external world is, because we're manifesting from our consciousness, and if our consciousness is contaminated with the shadow, that means the external world will be a manifestation of the shadow. So therefore, you can have the world manifested with the higher guardian angel or the higher self, which is God, and then it will be heaven on earth, or it will be manifested through the shadow. So I like to go with my philosophical questions. I like to ask ChatGPT. So I asked ChatGPT this question: with Set being a shadow and being manifested from ignorance, how would a manifested world be? So this is what it says. If Set represents a shadow, the hidden, suppressed, and often misunderstood aspect of consciousness, then a world manifesting from ignorance would be a landscape deeply shaped by unintegrated fears, unchecked desires, and forces we try to bury. This would create a world where people act without knowing the roots of their motivations, driven by blind momentum rather than true understanding. In such a world, reality might mirror the chaotic energy of unresolved inner conflicts. Rather than growth and unity, society might be driven by division, competition, and disconnection as people project their shadow onto each other instead of reconciling them within. Those dark parts of the psyche, fears, insecurities, judgment, becomes dominated forces. Collective ignorance feed into this reality with entire systems designed to perpetuate a status quo that doesn't ask questions or seek deeper truths. Imagine a world of amplified illusions where people operate with constructs they don't understand, lost in cycles they can't escape, with suffering disguised as not normalcy. But just like Set, the shadow has a purpose. The turmoil it creates can also be a catalyst, pushing people to confront and integrate with what they've ignored. As individuals and societies begin to see the shadow, awakening follows, making it possible to transform ignorance into wisdom and realign. And it still goes on. Hold on. So a world birthed from ignorance isn't static. It has the potential to become a landscape for awakening. It's a reality that, while challenging and chaotic, invites deeper transformation and growth. In Gnostic, so then I asked about the Gnostic teaching, and this is what it says about the Demiurge, because remember we talked about the Demiurge. And it said, in Gnostic teaching, the Demiurge is a lower flawed deity responsible for creating and ruling over the material world. Unlike the pure, infinite divine source known as the monad or pleura, the Demiurge is considered ignorant, limited, and often malevolent. Gnostic views the Demiurge as a being who mistakenly believes itself to be the supreme God and uses his power to trap souls within this physical realm, keeping it disconnected from its true divine essence. The Demiurge names, which translates to craftsman or builder, hints at its role shaping the physical world. This entity is often associated with figures like Yaldabaoth in Gnostic texts, depicted with a mixture of animalistic and human features symbolizing its imperfect, incomplete nature. The Gnostics saw Demiurge as creation of the material world, as filled with suffering and illusion, designed to keep souls bound to ignorance through physical desires and attachment. In this worldview, the Demiurge and its archons, which are lesser beings or rulers, act as gatekeepers, preventing souls from realizing their divine spark. This ignorance is key. The Demiurge doesn't understand its own limited nature, creating and ruling from a place of blindness, unaware of the true divine source beyond it. Gnostic teachings aim to help souls awaken to their true nature and break free from the Demiurge influence through Gnosticism or inner spiritual knowledge. So that's my video. Hope you like it. Peace.